The last text my brother ever sent me came in at 6:42 p.m. on August 23rd, 2013. I'm done with trash. Don't contact me again. I sat on my apartment floor, phone in hand, and read it 4 times. The air felt thick. My chest tightened like something was sitting on it. I didn't cry. I just stared at the screen until it went dark. That was 10 years ago. We haven't spoken since? Today, I'm the CEO of a mid-sized tech firm. I own an oceanfront home with floor-to-ceiling windows that frame the Atlantic every morning. I built a life he said I'd never have. But here's the thing. None of this started with ambition. It started with being erased. And I kept the receipts. Growing up, my brother was the sun. I was a moon, useful for reflecting his light, irrelevant on my own. There's a photo from Christmas 2009. He's front and center, arm around Dad, both grinning. I'm 2 steps back, half out of frame. That picture isn't an accident. It's a pattern. When he got 3rd place in the 7th grade science fair, Mom threw a dinner party. When I won the state debate championship my junior year, she said, "That's nice, honey," and asked if I'd picked up his dry cleaning. I want to be clear, this is scapegoating. That's when one family member is consistently blamed or devalued while others are idealized, so the family can avoid its real dysfunction. I was the problem child. He was the golden boy. The story required both roles. College. I took out loans. $47,300 by graduation. My brother's tuition? Paid in full. When I asked why, Dad said, "You're resourceful. You'll figure it out." I did. I worked 2 jobs, lived in a 400-square-foot apartment I signed for in March 2011, and finished my undergrad with honors. My brother barely graduated, moved home, and got a job through Dad's friend. The family called him steady. They called me difficult. The kitchen tile in our childhood home was always cold. I remember standing there barefoot at 16, arguing that it wasn't fair. Mom said I was ungrateful. I started believing her. For years, I thought if I just worked harder, achieved more, they'd see me. But the thing about scapegoating is this. The role isn't about you. It's about what the system needs you to be. Still, I kept hoping. That hope had an expiration date. In July 2013, I got my MBA acceptance letter. The date on it was July 18th. It was a top 15 program. Full scholarship. I'd worked 3 years for that moment. I told my family over lunch the next weekend. I slid the letter across the table. My hands were shaking. I wanted them to be proud. Dad glanced at it. Mom said, "That's a lot of time away from work." My brother said nothing, but his jaw tightened. I saw it. 3 days later, he sent an email. August 20th, 2013. The subject line was blank. The message: "You've always needed to be the center of attention. Grad school is just another way for you to show off. I'm tired of your drama." I read it twice. My stomach dropped. I hadn't bragged. I'd shared good news. But in his mind, my success was a personal attack. I sent him a wedding invitation anyway. I was getting married that fall. Small ceremony. Just family and close friends. Maybe this would reset things. It came back a week later. The postmark read September 4th, 2013. He'd written "Return to Sender" in red ink across my name. Then came the text. August 23rd, 6:42 p.m. I'm done with trash. Don't contact me again. I called him. He didn't pick up. I called my mom. "Mom, did you see what he sent me?" "He's just upset, honey." "Upset about what?" "I got into grad school. I invited him to my wedding. You know how he gets. You've always been competitive. I haven't competed with him since we were kids. Maybe give him space. He'll come around." He called me trash. Don't be dramatic. I hung up. I didn't call back. Remember? I'd spent my whole life being the problem. This was the moment I stopped trying to solve it. I went to grad school. He went silent. I graduated with my MBA in May 2015. No one from my family came. My parents sent a card that said, "Congratulations on your achievement." It was generic, store-bought, the kind you grab at the last minute. I didn't wait for their approval anymore. I just built. 2016, senior analyst. 2017, manager. 2018, VP of operations. I remarried in 2019, someone who saw me, who asked about my day and meant it. The kind of partnership I didn't know existed. 2021, COO. 2023, January 5th, CEO. The announcement went out across industry channels. A business journal ran a feature on January 11th, 2023. From bootstrapped grad to corner office, one leader's unconventional path. The article mentioned my self-funded education. It named the company. It included my LinkedIn profile. That's when things shifted. I bought the house in May. Oceanfront. 4 bedrooms, 3 baths. The deed, reference number PD 20238841, recorded the closing on May 19, 2023. I remember turning the key for the first time. The air inside smelled like paint and new carpet. The windows faced east. I stood there watching the light spread across the hardwood and felt something I hadn't felt in years. Pride. Not the kind you perform. The kind you breathe. In March 2023, my LinkedIn profile views spiked. 340 plus in 1 week. I took a screenshot. I didn't recognize half the names. But a few I did. My brother's wife. A cousin. An old family friend. I didn't reach out. I'd learned that silence was its own answer. Then my mother broke it. The first email arrived on March 12, 2023 at 6:18 a.m. Subject line, "Thinking of you. Hi, sweetheart, it's been too long. I saw you're doing wonderful things. Let's catch up soon. Love, Mom." Sweetheart. She hadn't called me that in a decade. I stared at it over my coffee. My stomach tightened. The mug in my hand was warm, almost too hot, but I didn't put it down. I just held it and read the email again. She didn't mention the 10 years. She didn't mention my brother. She didn't apologize. She acted like we'd just drifted. The messages didn't stop. March 13th, a text. "Would love to see your new place." March 14th, 9:34 a.m. A voicemail from my cousin. 21 seconds long. "Hey, it's Jenny. So, your mom mentioned you guys are talking again? That's great. The family really misses you. We should all get together." Except we weren't talking again. I hadn't responded. That same day, March 14th, my brother's wife followed me on Instagram. I have a screenshot. She'd never acknowledged my existence before. Now she was liking photos of my living room. I checked LinkedIn. Between March 10th and March 18th, 2023, 4 people with family or family-adjacent ties sent connection requests. All within a week of that business journal feature. This wasn't love. This was optics. I'm not a cynical person. I've wanted reconciliation. I've imagined the conversation where my brother apologizes, where my mother sees me. But I'm also not naive. The timing was too clean. They didn't miss me when I was in grad school. They didn't miss me when I got promoted. They missed me when I became visible. Still, part of me wanted to believe. That old, cold tile kitchen part of me that thought maybe if I just gave them one more chance. But my gut knew better. And this time I listened to it. I decided to respond. But not on their terms. I hired a mediator. On April 3rd, 2023, I signed a retainer agreement with a family mediator. Not a therapist. A neutral third party trained in conflict documentation. I wanted everything on record. The mediator sent formal invitations to my mother and brother. I didn't ask, I notified. The session was set for June 15th, 2023. Case number FM 2023-1847. The mediation happened in a plain conference room. Beige walls. Fluorescent lights that made everyone look tired. A long table. Water pitchers sweating condensation onto the wood. I arrived early. My brother and mother arrived together. She hugged me. I didn't hug back. I nodded. The mediator, her name was Dr. Ellison, explained the ground rules. No interruptions. Each party gets to speak. Everything stays confidential unless we agree otherwise. She asked if we consented to written terms at the end. We all said yes. Let's begin with why we're here. You requested this session. Can you share your goal? I want to understand why my family cut me off for 10 years and why they're contacting me now. Sweetheart, we didn't cut you off. You were busy. We gave you space. I sent a wedding invitation. It was returned, I called. No one answered. You were always making everything about you. I have the emails, the texts, the dates. I can walk through all of it. Let's stay focused. Do you have documentation? I do. And I have a question for my mother. Why did you reach out in March? Because I missed you. This is an email you forwarded on March 8th, 2023 at 11:02 p. The header ID is 4F9A.LO2 at. Well, it's all here. It's from someone at your country club. It mentions my business journal feature. It says, "Didn't know your daughter was such a success. You must be so proud." Can you respond to that? She didn't. Her face went pale. My brother looked at her, then at me. The room smelled like stale coffee. I could hear the ventilation hum. That email was the villain twist. My mother hadn't missed me. She'd been embarrassed. Her friends knew I'd succeeded, and she'd been caught off guard. The reconciliation wasn't about love. It was about saving face. The mediator asked my brother if he had anything to add. He said he thought, maybe we could all move forward. I asked what that meant. He hesitated. Then, I'm between jobs. I thought, maybe you could help. There it was. Not an apology, an ask. $85,000 to be specific. He texted me that number 2 days after the mediation. I have the screenshot. Dr. Ellison drafted terms. Boundaries, no unannounced contact. No financial requests. Mutual acknowledgement that reconciliation is conditional on accountability, which had not been demonstrated. We all signed at 3:47 p.m. At 3:59 p.m., I received a confirmation email from Dr. Ellison. Terms recorded. Copies attached. The record couldn't be rewritten now. 2 days after the mediation, my brother texted. June 17th, 2023, 10:22 a.m. Hey, I know things have been weird. I'm in a tough spot financially. Could you loan me $85K? I'll pay you back. Loan, not gift. As if a decade of silence could be bridged with an IOU. I didn't respond to him. I called my estate attorney. On July 3rd, 2023, I executed a trust revision. Document number TRS 2023-6702. It removed my brother and parents as beneficiaries. My spouse, my mentee's scholarship fund, and 2 charities I've supported for years, they're in. My family of origin is not. I didn't do this out of spite. I did it out of clarity. They didn't want me. They wanted access. I called my mother one last time. July 10th, 2023. I wanted to let you know I've updated my estate plan. You and your son are not included. That's cruel. It's consistent. You excluded me for 10 years. I'm simply making legal what was already emotional. We're your family. Family doesn't return wedding invitations. Family doesn't call you trash. I thought you'd forgiven us. I've released you. That's not the same thing. I hung up. My hands weren't shaking. I felt lighter than I had in years. The boundary email went out that night, 10:14 p.m., July 10th, 2023. It reiterated, no contact unless they're prepared to take accountability. I haven't heard from them since. The loop closed itself. I wake up most mornings now to the sound of the ocean. It's not dramatic, just a low, steady hush through the open window. The kind of sound that doesn't demand anything. I make coffee in my own kitchen. The mug is warm in my hands. The light comes in sideways, golden clean. I bought a bag from the local cafe, Seaside Roasters, on July 22nd, 2023. I kept the receipt, not because it matters, but because small things feel precious now. On August 1st, I got a thank you card from one of my mentees. She'd just accepted a scholarship I'd helped fund. The postmark was August 1st, 2023. She wrote, "You saw me when no one else did." I cried reading it. Good tears. The kind that means something grew. My calendar has an entry for August 12th, 2023. Dinner. Chosen family. That's my spouse, 2 close friends, and a former colleague who became a sister in every way that counts. We'll eat on the deck. We'll laugh. No one will call me trash. The institutional safeguards are in place. The mediation is on record. Case FM 2023-1847. The trust is executed. TRS 2023-6702. My boundaries are documented. I don't have to defend them anymore. They exist independent of anyone's approval. This isn't a revenge story. I didn't win because they lost. I won because I stopped playing a game rigged against me. The mansion, the title, the salary, those are nice. But the real victory is this. I don't wait for my phone to ring anymore. I don't hope for an apology that will never come. I built a life where I am seen, valued, and safe. And every morning I wake up to the ocean. I built this, and it's mine.